All right, now today we're going to talk about those people that like to sing in the nose. I've decided instead of fighting that battle, I should simply show people the correct way to sing in the nose. And it is a little different than you think. It's not a resonance, it's not point, it's not focus. It's again doing something that causes the breath to respond a certain way. If I do this, I get a great big response down here, and I do that. It's not in my nasal resonance at all. Not a hint. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to blow my nose, and then I'm going to maintain that angle that I'm blowing, and I'm going to let this do the support for me. Got it? I can do all kinds of things. Like if I say B, Bob, and Da, things like that, it closes my nose for me and keeps the voice out of my nasal cavity. If I sing it's in my nose. So we don't sing the nasal cavity. And we sing above it, and we got to figure out where to get above it. The best way is to have this kick it over, right? Let's say I start here and I go down. Not on my nose. So the whole idea is aiming. Those of you who like to place the voice, especially if you think you're placing up here and getting focus and things like that. I always say that focus is probably the worst word ever invented in the history of singing. For some singer who never sang with big orchestras, big theaters, invented that idea. And if I sing like, it's in my nose. Nasal resonance does not carry, folks. It doesn't project. It tends to blend with the orchestra. See? So what do I do then? I certainly do not sing in the M or N or NG. Hung. I don't sing in that resonance at all. If I sing N, I go da. It turns into a dog. Dee da 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 doo doo, and I can sing there. See? None of you are going to come tomorrow. It sounds like I'm saying none, but I'm really cut my nose closed. I'm going, none of you. You may say you've got a cold in your nose. But there's a way to use the soft palate. When I go from M to B, I go, Bob. I go, N, dog. So the soft palate moves up and forward. See? If I go, hung, where'd the vowel go? It didn't stay down here. It's on the false mask. So this is very important. Now, we want, first of all, to establish there's a danger always of nasality anytime you sing it here. And if I go I'm in my nose. If I go hung, I'm in my nose. So I don't say singing, I say singing. Hear the difference? Singing. So I have to get up and above that NG position. And they have what they call the hung line that you can use as a reference point and go hung. You got all this resonance across here, and that's the false mask. It's too low. So I go hung. So I put it over my nose, over this line, and it went up here. And now I'm not nasal anymore. All right, let's carry on. Since we've established this, now let's carry on. If I blow my nose, guess what? Then you think my nose is open, right? But something happens down here when I start to sing, and all of a sudden the resonance jumps up here somewhere. We can't explain everything. Some of the stuff is done. People discovered it. It works like a charm. But you can kill yourself. You can drive yourself nuts trying to figure out what's going on. So the idea is to take a command and do it. Blow your nose and sing there. See, I'm singing for all practical purposes. I'm singing right here, but my resonance is up there. All right, now let's do a couple of variations of that. Here's one of them. I'm going to exhale through my nose like this. And halfway through that exhalation, I'm going to pinch my nose and get the breath stopped somewhere up there. Now, where's my nose stopped? Where am I stopped now? See? That's a little exaggerated, but I'm trying to do it to show you a little bit how this works. So if I go, and now I've got the breath stopped right here. The idea is I don't have to sing with my nose open. And I can certainly sing forward. I can even sing, I feel like I'm guiding everything right here. And you can fool yourself too sometimes. Because although I'm trying to sing right here, the truth is my resonance is coming up there. Now another one, I'll do that one again. See what I did? I'm exhaling through my nose. Just say I'm blowing air through my nose. See that? But I stop my air from going through my nose by pinching it. Now, after a while, I learned from, like I did before, I move my soft palate in a certain way, and I don't have to pinch it. I can close it. How are you today? How are you today? How are you today? See? So the main thing is to learn this mechanism, which is the soft palate moves up and forward. And every action has an opposite reaction, so it will require a certain kind of breathing to achieve that. The more I breathe down and low in my back, the more my soft palate arches up and forward. So I go. See, all I did was breathe that time, and it reacted up here. The reaction was opposite and equal. So it went up there above my hung line, my nasal resonance, and moved up here. See? So I've got blow the nose, right? Breathe through, exhale through the nose. Or inhale through the nose. Those are the three nasal ways of singing that I knew, that I learned when I was in that Metropolitan Opera School. You know, there were so many great singers. Every great singer in the world walked through there one time or another. They're in there 5 years. So one time or another, somebody came through. And nobody sang with the nose open, none of the big singers. And they all breathed in their lower backs. And they all pulled their abdomens inward when they sang. And we'll get into that in a minute. I'll do another video. We'll talk about that. But the idea right now, I want you to understand that if you want to sing forward, your nose must be closed and not open. So I can sing right here. If I do let's say do a breath stop here. Pa, ah, let me do it again. Pa, ah, so my nose is never open. But I'm saying it's always closed. What did I do that time to close it? Now think about it. See? What am I doing the whole time is shutting my nose off. And no resonance goes through here, no air, no tone, nothing goes through my nose. A lot of people are taught to push their bellies outward when they breathe. If I do that, what does it do to my resonance? I'm going to push it out. My nose is complete. My voice, my resonance is completely nasal now. It's in my nose. My nasal resonance. And Caruso said, never sing into the nasal cavity. So that's not quite clear. You can sing nasal cavity if if you don't let the nasal resonance get in there. The problem we're talking about is resonance here. Everything else is just a placement that might make sense to you and not to anybody else. But we can all hear the voice. All you have is pinch your. Anytime you're talking or singing, if you pinch your nose and it has an effect on the sound, then you're doing something wrong. See? All right, now, so we breathed out and stopped it. I do this to show you when I stop it. I can do that without my fingers, though. See? Or I can breathe in through my nose and suddenly stop it. That means that the flow of air stops suddenly. Both ways. So we go. See me breathing through my nose? And there's an airflow right here. And I'm going to stop it. So it feels like I'm sucking in my eyeballs. So I'm still trying to pull that air through my nose, and I'm it's closed now. It doesn't work. So I've got a sucking feeling when I'm doing the outward ones, and I go. I feel like I'm blowing air up in my eyeballs or something. But we don't go by feeling. We go by command. Tell it to what to do, and whatever you feel will be different with all kinds of different things that you tell singers to do. So I'm going to stop. One way or another, I'm going to stop my nose. La, la. Can you tell which ones those were? One is out and one is in. One is in and one is out. Which one am I doing? What do you think? That last one, I blew my nose. That sounds silly, I know. But if you do this, you will have perhaps that presence of resonance and feeling that some people like to feel, like to sing up here. And if you like it, that's the way to do it. But a lot of singers, Caruso said the I vowel is very far back and low in the throat. Franco Corelli sang behind the glottal stroke, right? Monaco sang right here. See? Birgit Nilsson sang, she taught me this. Oh! She sang straight down in her crotch and let the resonance jump over when she changed register. Oh! Not in my nose. She had the biggest voice I think I ever heard. Oh! For those of you who want to be falsettists or big sopranos, big altos and mezzos, that's the way you do it. You go down and under. So I'm going to reach all the way down. And I'm way down there now. And I go under that for that upper note. So when you're in Nellie Melba singing Voi che sapete from Marriage Figaro, what do you think she's doing when she's going, Voi che sapete? What is she doing? What is that? See? They had this soprano, Celestina Bonisegna, who was really, everybody in Italy worshipped her back in the 1910s and 20s. She was considered she was like the Rosa Poncelle of Italy those days. And she used it all the time. They'd use a break, they call it. The break, it's not really a break, it's really a continuation of a flow. Now, what do the men do if they want to do that technique? They do the opposite. They go, ooh, ah, ooh, ah. Got it? So then we have this business of passaggio. Everybody comes up to a certain, oh, you have to cover, you have to cover. Do you have to cover? What do you think? Covering is a funny word, isn't it? Covering requires action. It requires breaking rules of the bel canto arrow, which are no action in the throat, no action in the hyoid muscle, which is under here, no action in the jaw, and no action in the tongue. The tongue is like this. The throat is like this. And the jaw is like this. And the jaw would fall off if it were attached. And then you have this right here, completely loose. So now if I do that, what do you think happens? Oh, see? Oh, I'm not doing anything. And I go, so I'm not covering with an action. I'm passing the note into another register. I'm not even doing it. It goes by itself. If I keep everything free, then the voice will pass by itself. Dame Ava Turner, who did the first Turandot in London, very famous singer, came to New York and did some master classes and gave a few voice lessons while she was there when I was a student there. And she used to insist that this is invisible. You can pass your hand through this area and there's nothing there. The voice starts here and goes down. So that's the invisible throat, the invisible jaw, the invisible tongue, the invisible hyoid muscle. How do I sing if I start here and go down? I don't use any of this. See? So I go, I'm starting here. What do you think? What is my jaw doing? Nothing. What is my tongue doing? The tongue must lie flat, completely flat. And every time you breathe, the back of it goes down. And the E vowel, the back of it stays up some. But it still goes down. You can see the back of my throat. That's an E. All right, so I think we've covered the three frontal, nasal, I don't want to say nasal because that's how we describe the sound, and we don't want the sound to be nasal. I want to do this anytime I want to, and it has no effect on my voice. My voice is already above here, above there, not in the nose. So if I blow my nose, then I breathe, then I exhale, none of those resonate here. They all resonate there. Okay? All right, I hope that one's clear. Let's see what happens. Okay, bye.